Let's get right into how to use your mental gym to become an elite player. It all starts with visualization. You gotta visualize to actualize, and then you fill in the blank. You gotta visualize. You gotta imagine it. You gotta see it, right? I mean, all the connotations of what I'm sharing. You gotta see yourself do these things. And for me, to you, that's what I did. I saw myself doing these things, and I really believed what I saw. I really believed it. All of a sudden, it became a reality. So I want to share something with you in this regard. There's two types of creations. The first creation is your concept, your idea that may not be well thought out, but there's something compelling about it. It's driving you. You can feel it. It's hard to explain. Sometimes you are ashamed of it because you don't want people to think you're crazy, but you got this concept in your mind. It's unseen. All of a sudden, you start acting towards it. That concept you were drawn to became clear, became more concise and brief, right? Became more concrete. All my seeds I'm throwing out. And my last seed. Why? Because you're able to create it. You created it, whatever it is for you. Two type of creations. That's always my little mind bender for players. How many shots are you really taking? Two. The one in your head, as you saw that ball go in the hole, and the one to show everybody what you were thinking. But we don't think about that unseen realm. That's that visualize to actualize. And again, you fill in the blank. Skill, homework, whatever you want to call it. See, mine came, and I'm going to share something with you. The only way, Coach Charlie's philosophy, you can get really creative is when you're bored. Out of boredom, I had my creativity. I said, you know what? I used to always hear about players getting old bicycle tires, taking out the spokes, having a hoop, finding a way to put it to a tree, and now they got a hoop at home. Well, for me, it was a milk crate. I got a hammer, banged out the bottom. Very dangerous, by the way, because I could hurt myself, but it didn't matter. And even to this day, I'm going to share with you what I have on my tree as a reminder that I still sometimes go outside and shoot on. A milk crate I found, and I put it on my tree in the backyard. And then what this also led to, and you do this all the time, I now want you to do it on purpose. Here is the second thing. It's called mirror drill. That's when you go through the emotions. You put yourself in that situation of shaking somebody, even nobody's around. You're walking in the hallway, right? You pretend like you got something in your hand. 3, 2, 1. See, you're mirroring. See, again, out of boredom, I would do that all the time. You probably think I'm crazy. I would talk to myself. I would say things to myself. I pretend I'm playing defense. I'm denying all those things that I can imagine myself doing. This mental movie I was playing because I wanted to become reality. See, I wanted to do this. I wanted to take what I saw and then say in past tense as I'm teaching you now what I was. And all I did was take that backwards. What I saw was my future. What I'm teaching is where I used to be and where you are trying to be, an elite level player, a McDonald's All-American, a Gatorade Player of the Year, a player that played in college at a high level, a player that played 6 years professional, a player that represented their country as a junior Olympian. See, what I saw, I teach from. I'm teaching from experience and not really a lot of my successes, more so lessons from my failures that if I can go back and reflect upon, this is what I want to teach you on Charlie. So see, all these things I'm telling you were what helped me be in front of you right now and share at a high level. You got to learn to visualize, to actualize the skill in your mental gym, and then you have to go through the motions with that stuff. And watch how, again, that concept becomes creation, reality on the court. And you see yourself being more involved and engaged because you started focusing with your feelings and emotions. Now your whole body is looking to be great all the time. Let's get right into how to prepare for practice, even if you're not a planner. See, the first thing you want to understand is how to get your mind right. See, to me, all this comes down to mentality, right? There's two types of creations. One, you can look at a concept, something that you can't see, but I'm trying to describe. It's in my mind. It all starts with that, right? And I'm going to talk about the second creation coming up in a second. But it all starts with, where are you mentally? Because a lot of times I don't know if I was ready to practice, right? I didn't look at it as a privilege to get better. Sometimes I felt like I had to practice, but just mentally, it took really one word, right? I get a chance to practice instead of saying I have to practice. Now, the difference is have comes down to almost like an obligation. Oh my God, practice. Okay, I have to go to practice. As if, let me get this over with so I can move on to something that might be more important. But even as a college player and a professional player, I had that mindset, right? I'm going to go there. I have to go to practice to get back to something else until I learned to change that, right? There's no obligation. It was a luxury. I didn't have to choose to play professional basketball for 6 years, right? Until I learned to change that mindset and say, I get to. I look at it more of as an opportunity and a chance to grow. And again, I always was not a planner, right? And again, that's why I had that mentality, I have to go, versus I started to say, you know what? This is a great opportunity to get better and improve on what can get done better, right? Even if you have great games, and a lot of times we say we had great games, we're really talking about scoring the ball. Let's keep it 100%. We have a great game. We look at it more of what we did to the stat sheet. We scored the basketball. You can have a great game and not score a lot of points, but you influence the game. I can tell you about a bunch of those games. It may not be highlighted as a college player, professional player, but I can tell you a bunch of games. I had great games, and I didn't see them as great games because I had coaches come up to me at the end and say, man, you played great. And coach, man, I only scored 10 points. I only scored 5 points, but you rebounded well. You set other people up to score the basketball. You play great defense. See, that's when I started to say, ooh, I get a chance to get better. I was looking at the wrong things conceptually, right? When I started to change my concept, it started to help me understand how to now plan and look forward to coming to practice, and that was a key difference. Now I'm going to share with you how to structure your practices for success.
All right, here's an actual practice plan that I use and I also give to my players to use, okay? And this practice plan has everything that we need to help us, one, stick to our priorities and workouts, two, stay on time and on target to the goals we want to hit for each workout as well. So let's dive right into this. First, I want you to notice I have a time column, and I'm very big on making sure that every actual skill set you want to work on, you want to allot yourself the proper amount of time on it. Okay, in this particular case, this is a dynamic warm-up, a way to get your body warmed up, okay? Right, and the way I like to do it is I like a time step, like it's actual time, like a clock. So what you see there is from 0, 0, 0 to 0, 8 minutes. For 8 minutes is that particular time I want to allot. May not even need 8 minutes, but that's the good thing about a guide. It's there for me, but if I don't want it, I may be able to allot more minutes to something else, but I have up to 8 minutes. I want to dedicate that so I can help this young athlete get warmed up, right, properly without hurting themselves, okay? Then also, if you notice, you have the fundamental or skill, okay? You have the fundamental or skill, okay? In this case, again, it's a warm-up. We call them dynamic warm-ups. You may call them something different, right? Just want to give you a guideline. Right next to fundamental skill, you see key teaching points. The universal timeless principle. What is it? I want my players knowing exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. It's just big for me. It was big for me as a player, and I've seen it pay off as a coach for players to help have a guide. Okay, then the actual drills themselves, you might put down. Okay, then if you wanted to, right? If you wanted to be really detailed, then over here you could talk about the goal. You know, the goal going into the actual drill, right? What was it you want to accomplish? Then a very simple goal reached. It could just be yes or no, right? If it's no, you can have comments. You can put down comments. What are those comments? Because you can always go back to this actual workout template to help you stay on time and on target. This is what makes great coaches great. They don't wing it, right? They measure it. And what you measure grows. I want you to be just like a great coach, but you are a player. And here are the secrets of how to get it done. Okay? That when you do practice alone, make sure you have a guide, and the guide becomes almost your best friend because it holds you accountable to what you're trying to do and get accomplished. Okay? Let's get after it.
Now I'm going to tell you the one thing you can do before practice to make yourself unstoppable. I kind of went to it in the first part, but now I want to get it to you. You must develop a pre-practice routine. See, a pre-practice routine will not only get your mind right? Because now we're talking about, we already talked about the mind part, right? Again, changing one word from concept to now one word creation, a reality, right? And now we got to talk about the body. What are you doing not only with your mind conceptually, but now in reality, out of your head and into the world? What are you doing physically? From concept to creation, we grow. Things happen twice. We can imagine it and we make it a reality. So keeping it to these constant words, right? These consonants, I should say, from concept C to creation. Now I need a routine I have to do with my body. There's something I have to do. Now I have to get my body right. Not only get my mind right, in the right frame of mind, I got to put my body in the right frame of action, right? And it can be the simplest things to do that. Doesn't always have to be something strenuous, okay? So that's what you want to get involved. Now that you understand that, you want to become unstoppable, create a pre-practice routine that involves getting your mind right, your concepts right. Now I can put the S part there to what you're looking to create physically. Now you got to get your body involved. Now I'm going to give you inside access to view my pre-practice routines. And it all comes down to what's relevant. Let's say I don't have access to a basketball, and the transition time between by the time you get to the actual gym, as you might be in high school, you might be in high school where you practice throughout the day. So you're going from one class, literally from English class, from whatever class, to the locker room, and you have probably up to about 10 minutes to get ready. I'll give you an example of a routine. How about you imagine what you want your practice to be? So it just might be a mind exercise. You can't do anything physically because you don't have a basketball, but you want to get your mind right. How about you imagine the practice you want to have? How about saying, hey, I made a mistake, but I saw myself, encourage myself, and then actually make that happen to creation? How about you actually see a player, a teammate of yours, making a mistake, and you see yourself, imagine yourself helping them. Imagine yourself getting better, doing certain things in practice. Then get your body involved, right? How can I get my body involved? I don't have a basketball. What can I do? If you can do static exercises. And static means stationary, where you're not moving. Can you do high knees? May not see my high knees. Can I do jumping jacks? Can I simulate shooting? Can I simulate passing? Can I go through the motions? Can we do what we call mirror drills? Again, I have no access to basketball, but I can mirror, right? I can mimic the movements that I'm actually going to execute coming up, maybe for 3 to 5 minutes. Let me give you a heads up right now. You're going to get ridiculed. You're going to get laughed at. There's a story of the late, great Kobe Bryant being in walkthroughs. Walkthroughs are typically what will happen at any level, and particularly the college and pro level. It's before the game. You're on the court going over your session actions, your schemes, how you want to play offense and defense. And there was a story from Shaquille O'Neal talking about Kobe Bryant would literally be murmuring, talking to himself about what he's going to do. You can't stop me, saying all kind of things. And everybody was laughing at that, saying like, okay, what is he doing? Go get your rookie, right? They were laughing at that. They were mocking it. But yet he was doing what? He was getting his mind and body ready, right? And he did it at a clip where he didn't really care about what he looked like, because he knew what he had to do to prepare himself to play, from concept to creation. He was imagining, saying, hey, you can't stop me, get off me. He was talking to himself. You're going to get ridiculed, I promise you. But when people start to see become successful, they're going to start doing the same thing. Been there before, right? I remember shooting baskets, no ball in hand, pretending I'm shooting. People look at me like I'm crazy. You go out there and score a lot of points, and all of a sudden they do the same thing. Hey, why do you do that? Want to get in your head. Let's say I do. So let me give you another. Let's say I do have a basketball, but I can't get to the court. Can I do a dribbling routine, right? Can I do a passing routine? Can I find a teammate to go back and forth with? Can I use a wall to pass? To use a wall to shoot like I just talked about? Can I imagine the things that I'm probably going to do on the court? Can I get myself ready for that? Now, to give you my last situation, I have access to a basketball. I also have access to a court. Can I do what I call my small victories workout? Can I go out there on the court, not only get myself warmed up in what we call a dynamic warm-up, where, again, I want to get my blood flowing, get a sweat going, right? A little rhyme right there. I also want to start to loosen up my joints and muscles, prevent injuries. Can I do a dynamic warm-up? Can I do something for 2 to 3 minutes? Then, can I get the basketball, start dribbling? Maybe Pete Maravich drills, right? Squeezing the basketball, ball wraps, no dribbles involved. Just looking to strengthen my hands and fingertips, right? For battle, while I'm getting my mind right. Can I go jump rope, right? Whatever it might be. Just telling you things that I actually did, right? And putting in question for me. Can I go jump rope? Maybe a heavy rope to get me to really put in effort to jump it. Maybe a light rope to speed jump. Then can I get the basketball and start dribbling it, right? Once I start dribbling, can I stay stationary dribbling for 2 to 3 minutes? Then can I go shoot layups, Mikan drills? George Mikan made it famous. Go look him up what I'm talking about. Can I go shoot Mikans? I can do Kyrie Mikans as a guard, right? Work on outside finishes, outside hand finishes, inside hand finishes. Working on developing both hands and feet, small victories, because I want to see the ball go in the basket at a high clip so I'm close to the basket. Can I form shoot, jump shoot? Can I use a one-hand shot? Can I add my guy hand? Can I then go through the motions? You can't see my feet, not jumping, but I'm talking about like being around the rim 3 to 5 feet, knowing you're going to make a lot of these shots, because now the only difference between a 2-foot shot and a 20-foot shot is the distance. I'm going to shoot the ball the same way. I might increase my effort the further I go, but the power's going to be there. The concept to creation is going to be there. So all this stuff, I remember having great pre-practice routines. When I had great ones, my practice followed. And then subsequently, guess what? The way I practiced showed up in games. And it really helped me become consistent. I hope you become consistent by developing your own pre-practice and pre-game routines, but understanding what they really help you do. They help you become more consistent as a player. Let's keep the momentum going with that bonus I mentioned earlier. We've covered a lot in this video, and I really want to make sure I'm helping you out. So I'd like to offer you a guide that covers all the must-know basketball principles and in what situation to apply them. This is a powerful guide of best practice tips and skills empowering you to take charge of your game. Just click the link in the description below. You can download the guide I put together as my gift to you. Enjoy it and keep attacking.